Greetings, greetings, beautiful souls. Today is January 29, 2018. I am on live today. I'm being pulled as usual to give messages and hopefully interact with some of you who are available. So I'm right now at this moment, I am going to invite some friends and those who may be interested in hearing any messages or anything to share. I'm going to invite. This is going to be conscious conversations and what's going on right now with this eclipse energies. I'm being pulled to speak. Give me one moment. Uno momento. Yes. Just trying to invite as much as who I can. If I left you out, please don't feel no way. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? I am on here right now because it's time for me to speak about, it's been a while since I've been a minute, as one would say, that I want to talk about what's going on in the energies, what's happening. I love you too. I love everyone. But before I start speaking, I want to clear the energy between each and every one of us that's on here right now, because there is a lot of things that are going on as we're here gathered at this moment, at this time, as I'm pulled by the Holy Spirit to speak. And I'm also pulled. Hey, Erica, how are you? Greetings. Let me just at least acknowledge Sajid, Anthony, Diara, thank you. Dawn, Ricky, Rhodes, Jade, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Lots of love. Peace and blessings, sending lots of love and peace. Yes, Jade, how art thou? Love you much, love you much. Love you much. So I just want to take this moment for us to just clear the energy fields with, if you're in the position to do so. And just inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. As we're gathered here in this moment and this time, I am so grateful and thankful to Mother and Father God for each and every soul that we're coming to even higher states of consciousness and connecting to the oneness of God and to the oneness of life and to the oneness of nature and to everything that is happening for each and every one of us as we are continuing on our ascension path and our awakening. And anything and all things that we need to understand about ourselves that we're not understanding, that we're able to come to this space and that we're able to come to a place of peacefulness with this aspect of our journeys and where it is taking us right here and right now. Esene cheto silande pe kinui bate chokum de bate cheto li de pe le de kusida tishande bekin lorida pe kilo doto surida di tatori silande te kani tisha konya ticha no taibege ani na de chiane eroi sinere kenda chilande de kilo dida pisana shidara pitiro kuimba ani na ni tashina ne te sana itaro kuinda piterepe tu silamde de kilo ni sande de pedabo isana de ser kusine chanaba. So as I'm speaking in these tones is to clear out anything that is not for the highest and best intentions right now, that it shall clear and that we shall stay steadfast in power and truth. So I would love to hear from anyone. What have you been experiencing as far as ascension? I will share some of mine and I'd love if you can share some of yours as far as what's been happening. Over the weekend, I was sleeping for very, very long hours. Like I couldn't get up, and I knew that there was something magnetically that was happening as far as that is concerned, because every time I tried to keep my eyes open, it's like I couldn't keep my eyes open at all. And a lot of heat was flowing through my body as well for several hours of the day, for the past several days. I've had rashes that were breaking out also on my my chest. You've been having headaches, sleeping a lot. Yep, sleeping a lot, and then also not wanting to sleep too. It's like by the time I'm, getting into the bed, then I can't sleep at all. Lots of heat flowing through my body. Then last night I was just eating and eating and eating nonstop, just eating different things, And so I know that my body is storing a lot of stuff as well. When I say a lot of stuff, meaning that whatever proteins that was as necessary proteins and things that are, and so just, be gentle with yourself, that even if you feel like you want to eat more, continue to eat more, what you need to do, and follow guidance to whatever it is that you are to eat or not to eat. You know what I mean? Let me see, what is another symptom? I know that there's some of us that are still having ascension flu symptoms. It may seem like the flu, but actually what's happening still again is going through upgrades, a lot of DNA upgrades in the body. And so it requires us to have more sleep. We're also going through breakdowns, because remember, each one of us stores ancestral data that dates back to a very, very long time. And because of that, the body is going to be breaking down systematically with what's shifting, because more of your light body is coming in as well. Yes, India, I've heard that some have been having eye infections as well. Eye infections. Even sometimes you might be feeling things going on with your teeth. Stuffiness in the nose. What else again? Pain in parts of your body. Sometimes I get knee pains. And I really highly suggest to take sea salt baths. So if you're able to go by the sea, then go by the sea, because that will help a great deal. Because what it does, it helps to pass through things that's happening within your energy field. You may find yourself going to the bathroom still, as often. And this is a part of the process of what's going on. There are some who are in awareness of this and some who are not. And so I'm just going to keep speaking what it is that is happening, so you understand. And another thing that has been happening is, that's even more so what's the theme of what's going on, is coming even more into our power. Yes, coming even more into our power. And that will entail emotions that are going to come up to the surface. So you might find yourself engaging in arguments. You might get angry. You might feel irritated and annoyed. I noticed that has been happening with excuse me, not subjected necessarily to the masculine only, but I have realized, based on some other people that I've spoken to, that their masculine parts of, masculine, or their masculine aspect of their twin has been either irritated or but I kind of feel like it's on both sides, though, where you just find yourself so busy and everything is happening all at one time, and you feel like you're not able to capture everything at one time. It's like the time is speeding up so much more rapidly, and not being able to keep up with everything. And it's almost like you're juggling everything all at the same time and not able to. And from what is shown to me by spirit when that is happening, is that we are being propelled by the divine to let go of the routines and the things that we're used to doing, and the time that we take to do certain things. And all of these things are happening because we're so programmed and monitored into things that we're structured into doing and being, that it's setting us at a pace of allowing ourselves to get used to what being in this higher state of love is, what it means to be in a place of letting go and surrendering even more, and surrendering to outcomes, surrendering to circumstances, surrendering to divine will. You see, all of this is a part of that process. Hi, Shonda. Love you, honey. And you see, all of this is what is important, why it's happening. And it's important to understand why it's happening, because for you, it may seem like, well, I'm used to getting up or doing this by a certain time, even and including eating by a certain time. I find myself eating breakfast sometimes at 3 a.m. in the morning, or it can be at 9 o'clock at night. I'm just giving an example here. And certain times of the day when you think you are sleeping and you're not able to, or certain times you're sleeping for these long 10 to 12 to 18 hours, but it's still a part of what is coming together energetically. Also, as part as what is happening this week, Wednesday, is the eclipse. It's a full moon eclipse, and it's also considered to be a blue moon. and it's considered to be a blood moon because the moon is closer to the sun. And also there's 2 moons in this month in January, plus also it's an eclipse this Wednesday. And what that signifies is that there's certain things in our life, including certain people, where there's going to be endings, new beginnings. It also represents, once again, what you are doing to come into your empowerment. I must emphasize that more than anything else is coming to your empowerment. I had several things that I was experiencing within the past 2 weeks, and even including today, which I'm going to share with you. I feel that's what really propelled me to say I had to say something today, and also what's happening is that sometimes when we are on this journey, and there's so many times we're going to be experiencing the same things over and over again, that's repeated. And with that, we're kind of like, your soul is kind of like allowing you to step more into this power, which includes the interaction that you're having with others when someone is telling you something what they want you to do when that's not what you want to do. It might be a career choice that you desire. It might be someone that you desire to be with, and then you're deciding now once and for all you're going to place yourself where you are to be because you're following your heart, you're following guidance, you're following where your soul is taking you. Because this is not anymore about what you do normally. This is not about what you want to do on your own as far as in your 3D reality and what you see with your eyes. This is about what your soul, where your soul is taking you, what your soul, your higher self also is the same thing. And for those who are on the twin flame journey, of course, this has to do with how you are connecting and still connecting to yourself and who you're connected to. And not looking at just what you're seeing in the 3D perspective, but knowing that you're clearing energy still. We're still clearing energy. And there's moments where you're going to come into contact and you may not come into contact. And each moment that you're coming into contact, there's something that's shifting. We are going through periods of shifting on a rapid basis now. It's speeding up faster and faster. And that's why it may feel like as if your body is trying to catch up to what you think you thought you were going to do. And there's another level of surrendering, okay? And that means that letting go of what you think you may have power and control over, because this is a part of what is happening to do with the planet shifting. And Mother Earth is already ascended and is continuing, and there's more and more events that are going to be taking place on the Earth plane in terms of what may seem like disasters or earthquakes or any type of elements of things that are taking, which I've spoken about previously. All of this is a part of what is happening to do with the ascension and awakening. And anyone who is still in a space of fear or wanting to still be in control of what's happening in their life or whatever the case may be, there's just more things that are just going to keep coming into your way because of not choosing to surrender. Okay? And this means letting go of what you think you know, what you've been taught, and understanding that this is not even things that have been written in books, because you see, this is to stay present again, not based on what you see in other, what they call them, scrolls or almanacs. What has been in history is still history, what has been written as a story. And that's the reason why there are more people getting into arguments. There are more people who are feeling lost and feeling bewildered. There are more people that are also realizing things are happening in their life that they try to do something but it's not working for you. And this is how spirit is showing up in your space, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, because this is what is happening. This is what is happening. And even for some, they may find they don't have interest in it, but guess what? The intensity of these frequencies is increasing more and more on the planet. It is increasing. We are heading into our space of true love stories, and the true love story means that we're going to keep breaking down structures. There are more things that are going to be breaking down. There's more things that are going to be shifting. There's more things that are going to seem like they're out of place. Okay, you're going to find yourself being more separated from maybe your family and friends because they're not at the same place where you are energetically. And so what's happened still, as I've said before, is the soul is rejecting, or I should say not rejecting in a negative way, but it's sort of like pulling itself away from anything that is not serving itself at the time, because it's like you got to be in that secret type of place where whatever you're experiencing, you have to be able to connect yourself to the divine, and also in realizing what it is that you're healing, what it is that you're shifting. And so that's the reason why things are still continuously happening with this, in order to propel you to where you are coming into a higher state within yourself. So I at least wanted to talk even more about what it means to let go of the things that we're used to in terms of structure, in terms of what we're used to, in terms of the routines. I today had to contact my children's pediatrician, and they've been calling me since November last year. And they've been calling me, because I always have an annual appointment for them to have their annual physical. And what happened is he would be normally accommodate me to be able to bring all three of them at the same time. But right now, because of the fact that I'm going through so much shifts energetically, and whether or not anybody chooses to understand that, as far as I'm concerned, I really could care less, So anyway, I contacted them just to see if I could make an appointment to see if I could bring the three of them. And I even within myself, when they kept calling and calling and I couldn't return the call, I said, well, you know what? I know that they're well. They're well. And I haven't been to the doctor for a physical in over 2-3 years. Okay? 2-3 years. That's right. No doctor. Because, the thing is that everyone is so used to what society has set in place as a program to say, you have to do this, you got to do that. And if you don't do this, then this is not going to happen with that. So you better do that. And you don't even realize how wired you are into all of it, how programmed you are into all of it. You see? So when I'm talking to him on the phone now, just this afternoon, and, first I was talking to whoever work in the office, and I became even more empowered. I can't begin to tell you how many layers of empowerment that this entails within yourself. And so by the time I end up talking to him on the phone, he says to me that he cannot accommodate me with seeing them through all three of them at the same time. So I told him, I said, well, right now, I'm not in a position to be going back and forth with taking them if I need to just for the physical. I said the reason is because I'm going through a lot of energetic shifts. And I knew year after year he would always be on top of me about whether for them to get flu shots, which absolutely not. My children are not getting flu shots under no circumstances. Okay. And we all know who really is, because you see, the more you're ascended and the more you're awakened is the more you know the reason why. Okay. Why you don't do that. Okay. Because all it is just to put more poison in your body, because your body was made to heal itself, you see. And when I think about it, from way back in time, we didn't go to doctors. We didn't do all that because we were the medicine women. We were the medicine man. We were the ones that were healing ourselves emotionally, mentally, and physically, you see. So even those routines is what is breaking down for those who choose, for that to happen, because you do have the power and the ability to heal yourself. So he says to me, well, he asked me if I was mentally okay, like he thought maybe I was going crazy, and he asked me if I was living in the same place. I said, yes, I am. And he was asking me all those questions. I said, I'm in my right sound mind and body, because you see, I want you all to understand why I'm sharing this with you, is that in the end, he said that he's not going to accommodate me for bringing the three of them at the same time. So I said, well, if I can't be accommodated, I'm not knocking myself out to bring them there with having separate visitations. I'm not doing that. And I told him that I'm doing that because I'm taking back myself. I'm taking back my time. I'm taking back because that includes whatever I've had to do with my children or anybody else for the matter. That's my true empowerment. And so he said, well, what's going to happen if your son needs to get meningitis shots and all that stuff? I said, then so be it. Then he said to me, well, then he won't be able to go to school. So I said, so I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't have to go to school. And you know why? Because what's also changing is that we're going to be homeschooling our children. Some of the stuff that's taught in school anyway is not even the truth. Okay. And there's things that they're holding back. So that's how much stuff is changing on the planet. If somebody doesn't start somewhere, then when is it going to end? And that's more programming that has taken place that you must give your children. My son does not give my two grandkids, they don't get shots. And he uses his religious, spiritual reasons why. You see what I'm saying? And so anybody who is against that, that's your problem. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is the sovereignty that we're heading back to because of children who are also developing other things because of the shots and all these things. You see what I'm saying? As you become more awakened, as you tune into things, you will know what is the truth and what programmings lie in place. So I took back even more of my freedom today because of that. I didn't care. I gave no fucks. Okay? That's it. That's the place where I'm at, even more so than ever before. You see what I'm saying? Because there's so much of this giving away power that one doesn't even realize how much it affects you, you know, based on the choices that you make and how we're choosing to move forward when it comes to the things that are happening in our lives and where it takes us. You see, things are changing dramatically, even more so this year. As I've stated before, I was having a lovely conversation interacting with Tavon last night. And you know, we were talking about the things that are coming up on the earth, which even includes the breakdown of the banking system. I implore any of you that have a lot of things invested in the banks and, you know, stock markets and all that stuff, even that is also breaking down this year. Okay, especially as Uranus goes into Taurus, which is around the springtime. I've been guided by Spirit many times that the monetary system is changing and shifting. And you can continue being blindsided by thinking, oh, no, it's not going to happen. Oh, no, it's not going to happen because, you know, then what will happen with this? There's going to be at some point some sort of depression that will take place. I'm talking in terms of where there will be no value placed on money anymore, and even the things that you purchase, and people are going to be wondering what's going on, what am I going to do, where's it? And this is why you're being prepared to let go of attachment to things, okay, and knowing that you have the power to manifest things in your physical reality, not necessarily doing something with it, because Spirit wants you, also known as God, also known as Yahweh, also known as the universe, also known as the cosmos, to get used to how you are manifesting and bringing things into your reality, not based on the things that you were and how you would normally do it. You see? And I even had a conversation with my children, because I do have conscious conversations with my children. I'm not afraid to speak up. I'm not afraid to say whatever it is that needs to be said. So even whatever ended with the children's pediatrician today, however he wants to think and feel, it's not my business. All I know is that I am staying on the path to where I'm led to. That is a part of my freedom. It's a part of your freedom. And each person that comes into their own sovereignty and truth about this, you set yourself free on a greater level. And that's how it is. You see, so I have the ability to see what is coming ahead. I have the ability to see what is coming into divine order with all of this. And it's through all of the chaos of what is happening in your life, because I know and feel that every single person who's hearing this, you know what is happening in your life that appears to be chaotic, that appears to be out of order, that appears to be different, that you know that something shifted from within your life, whether it's a job, because even certain things are eclipsing out if it hasn't started already, because the eclipse energy started already from about 2 weeks ago, and that includes shifting jobs, shifting out of relationships that no longer are conducive. Anyone who's staying in relationships that you know you can feel in your heart that it's time for it to be let go because of whatever karmic energy has taken place. That is also happening. Some of you are being guided to move because the energy where you're living is no longer serving you as well. Even that is happening as well. Please feel free, anyone, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, please feel free to ask me questions, because I am certainly available to ask you questions right now. Anything you want to share about what you're experiencing, feel free to share that with me as well. I never know when I come on here, because, you know, life is just shifting so much for me that certain things that I don't do, and I let go of it. I'm okay with it. You know, it's like we go this way and that way. It's so much things that are happening, but I know the major thing that I know that is continuously happening is how much more we're coming into our empowerment, how much you're empowering yourselves, how much you're empowering the things, you know, surrounding the things that you do, and really realizing, coming to a greater self-realization about the thing, you know, how you're giving your power away. and the ability to say no. How much you're seeking to understand yourself and who you really are from in the past, because sometimes I was even facing when someone is trying to tell me who I'm not. And the more you say who I'm not is the more I say who I am. And the more you feel what I shouldn't say and speak is the more I'm going to speak and say who and what it is that I am to say. Because a lot of us are getting upgrades in the throat chakra. The energy of God roars through me. And the volume and the energy that comes from the space through my voice is coming out louder and louder and louder in what is coming forth as truth. And I'm also hearing it and having it in other dimensions, you see? That's what's happening. There's even intergalactic things that are happening as well, which I'm so happy to share. I had a dream about a week ago, and there were others who were having similar contact also. Not everyone, similar contact from galactic beings. I was having dreams where I was in a room and it was a lot of galactic beings. I prefer to say galactic beings more than calling them aliens, that were in a room, and I was communicating, and it was around the 12 o'clock hour, and I woke up out of my sleep and I was like, oh my God, I didn't want it to be over, but I realized that there was something going on. And when I was in my house, the next day, this was just before I was getting ready to do the radio show, I heard some noises in the bathroom downstairs, and I was like, oh, I thought my son was home from work. And it was sounding like a regular person. Then I heard the door open and close. I figured it really was my son coming home from work. And it so happens that evening, that Friday evening, this was the 19th of this month, this happened. And when I came home that Friday night, sitting around the table eating dinner with my children, and my son Brandon said to me, oh, mommy, I was in the bathroom and then I heard all this noise and I thought it was Charlize and everything like that. And I'm like, really? And I said, and then what? And, excuse me. So when he said that to me, I got more intrigued because I knew that same day is what was happening when I was hearing those noises. So my daughter Charlie said the same thing happened with her too, you see? So when she said that, I was like, wow, this was really happening. And then there were other videos of other people that were also speaking about the same thing. This is a part of what is happening in terms of DNA data that's coming down, that is integrating. We're shifting through a lot of things. There's other beings that are also assisting the planet with what is shifting also, and is coming through from the planet Sirius, Sirius, and the Palladians. There's so much data that's flowing through me. I mean, I'll be talking for hours and just receiving information. I also was in conversation with Mike the Peace Dealer about a week ago, and we were hearing like airplane ship sound, and he was like, oh, I thought that was over by you. And I'm like, no, it's not by me. I thought it was over by him. So it's these type of supernatural things that are happening. Lots of supernatural things. There's even more supernatural things that is happening around me that I've been experiencing. And I can't even remember all of them off the back of my head, but just things that are happening that I normally would take care of, even with my bank and things that they charge me. And all of a sudden it's not there anymore because I choose not for anyone to take advantage of me anymore, because it's coming from within my solar plexus, within me. That's a part of your empowerment. Think about all the people and all the places that you interact with and who you interact with, and what has been pulling you down, and you're feeling heavy inside. Take back your power. Speak up for yourselves, okay? And start to tune into what the divine is showing you as far as that is concerned. It is so important, because this is how things shift within ourselves. This is not about going out to war with anyone. And that's why I tried to tell my peoples, okay? You're all my peoples. Stop focusing on the wars and what's happening out there with the hatred and this one versus this and this one with the color of skin and all that stuff. You know why? Because what changes things is you staying centered within yourself and empowering yourself to bring back your kingdom and your queendom. That's what's at hand right now. That's what's important right now. Every single one of us that stays empowered and takes back your power and support one another, support each other's businesses and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? When the way how it has been shown to me with the new earth is that we are all going to be communing with one another. Like one person barters with the other. If this one plants vegetables in their garden, they're going to be changing with someone doing services with their hair, or someone who does services with babysitting. Even things that are being restructured when it comes to churches. When I was asked that question, will the churches remain? Absolutely, but it's going to be restructured for those who choose. And church is not going to be identified to going to a physical place where they have, the way how they have the panes on the side and the pews and the bench. No, church could be that you could be going to the YMCA and giving messages to young people and guiding them to where, and also allowing the young people to guide you, because guess what? The younger ones, they know what's happening. They're also shifting and shifted with how they are doing things. And it's for those who are older to listen and pay attention, because the children, they do have it. They know. They're aware. They're in a greater awareness of what is happening and the changes that are happening. Everything you think that you have been doing from 10 years ago and 20 years ago, it is not going to be the same. That's the reason why Spirit guided me that I'm doing, and it's an audio book that I'm doing, The Return of the Garden of Eden, because it has to do with the newness of life and what is new, what is coming forth. Remember the part that says that the world will be made anew, letting go of the old. And I know some of you are having such a difficult time with letting go of old things, letting go of things you're used to doing and wanting to be in control. And there is a higher power that is taking place, and there's other planets that are assisting with things. And for those who choose to still hold on and still be in fear about it, you're going to end up just leaving. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that if you're not able to handle these frequencies, because it is getting more powerful, I'm telling you this from now, it's almost like I felt like I was a rag doll. And me, as strong as I am, I know how strong I am. I know how strong I am. I know who I am. I stay in my power more than anything else, and even then some. And I want to thank all of you out there, anybody who's been for or against me. I thank you, because we all serve a purpose to how we are awakening each other. And each time we come into some contact with one another, there's something that's pulling from me and something that's pulling from you back to me, and it's all interchanging. So there are some of us that are in specific soul agreements to everything that is happening and what it means to coming back into our full divine power. And that's what it is. Okay, so I wanted to at least share those specific things with you, as far as especially to do with the empowerment and how deep it goes, because as we go in layers with this, and what's how Spirit showed it to me is that I'm right, for me right now, I'm in just multiple dimensions, and sometimes I'm taking down, going in a lower descension with it, and even higher with it. And some of you may feel like you're at a place where you may feel stuck, and that means that there may be something for you to look at and to pay attention to what is mirroring between you, and whether or not, if you're a twin, what is mirroring between you and them. I do know that as far as the masculine is concerned, because even as Spirit shows it to me, it's still all interrelating now. It doesn't make me feel like as if it's too separated like before. And the way how I see it is that those who carry more frequencies of being more, not, I wouldn't say more feminine, but they're more like, how do I say it? More in their feminine energy. And then that means that there's some things that are happening in their lives for them to empower themselves and to step even more into their power. So that way things come into greater balance with their feminine counterpart. There may be some of those the male bodies that are holding more frequency of more of the patriarchal energy, more, how do I say, more wanting to be in control and wanting things to go their way and not wanting to let go. Structures, because a lot of them are holding structures that I even realized that goes back to Atlantis again, because there were some of the male counterparts that went their way because they wanted to be in control and power, and there were some who did not want to, and they were put in a position where they were being threatened or something like that, because I saw it in memory and I could feel it. And even with those that I do readings for, I was picking up on that. So it's all of these things that are breaking down energetically as well as physically. I really feel like there's some places, lots of places in the world that has the energy of what happened back then. And it's replaying itself still because of those who are finally breaking free, and then those who are still wanting to hang on to it. And so we're at that point where this eclipse is coming in again, which I know in some instance there's things that happened from 6 months ago when we had that eclipse in August, and things are coming to that completion through this eclipse. And it's like stepping through one portal to a next, or one timeline to a next, or something like that. That's the best word that I can come up with. And as we're doing that, because there's more energy of what's coming through as light, it is breaking off anything that is in that dark element that's been trying to hold on to the old structures. And that's why it looks to me, when I see it, it looks like an earthquake, it looks like a tsunami. And so different parts of the world that holds it even more stronger in vibration, I am feeling, how Spirit is showing it to me right now as I'm speaking to you, is that it starts to take an element and a frequency of breaking it down to be like an earthquake, to be like a tsunami, to be like a flood, to be like a volcano. Okay, all of these elements, because I already had a dream that there was not a tornado. It was like an earthquake, but it was like things were just really like in a panic stage, with everything just falling apart all over the place. And I really know and feel that we're in that energy space already. And the thing is that I'm being guided to share is that it's getting stronger. It is getting stronger. It's nothing to be in fear of. It's to be in awareness of it, to be in awareness. And so as we are in this eclipse, this is about coming still into that center in your heart, and listening and paying attention to what is within your heart and how you are connecting to each other. And that being that, of course, everybody who knows I'm an Aquarian, and it's also, we're in the Aquarius season, and this is about how do you stay in within your own power, and at the same time, you're able to honor the collective aspect of all of this, okay? At the same time, while you're still being in your freedom. And the freedom comes with you stepping into your power, and also whatever you're changing and shifting, that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says or does, or whatever the case may be. And still, while you're going through all of this, laugh, play, dance. I call that a form of meditation. All of that also plays a part in how you're able to get through this, I mean, even when I was cooking yesterday, which I normally would cook on Sundays, and I decided 2 Sundays ago, I'm not cooking. I'm just not doing the same routines. And so while I was doing that, while I was still feeling tired, while I was feeling bummed and feeling like this, I was playing music and dancing. You see, because when you're dancing, you're shifting something. You're shifting. So I know some people, they choose to go into yoga, go for walks, take the seesaw baths, go to the sea. Okay? All of that helps you through the phases of what you are going through and experiencing. This is a part of the ascension. That's a part of your awakening, is bringing the space. It doesn't have to be, oh gosh, look at what I'm going through. Oh my goodness, I feel so terrible. And then that's it. And then you're not placing yourself into a space of changing and shifting by doing something with your body and yourself, and not only focused on someone else, you see? So it's so important. I wanted to share that too, especially because that is how I have been able to do it, to get through these moments. I can't even make plans with certain things. And that's the reason why I had it out with that doctor today. I said, I cannot make plans for anything. No, I can't. That's why I don't even have a website, because I know that when it comes to what we are experiencing now, it is not the same anymore. I don't even know what is going to happen in the next month or so, because Spirit just keeps showing me it's getting more powerful, and it's increasing and increasing and increasing. And so it's important to go outside and connect yourself to nature and everything that's out there in nature, because everything out there in nature is also ascending. You see what I'm saying? And as I stated before, all the structures of everything that you do and be is not the same anymore. Anytime you feel like you have to do something and it's something you never wanted to do, that's when you know it's time to change out of it. That's when you know it's time to let go. That's when you know it's time to shift. That's when you know that something is in movement. What synchronizations have you been seeing lately? I've been seeing 777s, 717 as usual, and especially 555. When I see the 555, I know something is definitely shifting and moving again to another level. Because every time we shift to another level, then we go through more periods of the not being able to sleep, changing with what we eat, the headaches, and the heat coming in the body. Because I mean, every moment there was heat coming through my body, almost every single moment, feeling like I couldn't even concentrate anymore, anything like that. All of that stuff is a part of what is happening during this time, during this eclipse season. And as I've stated before, from what I gathered, that a lot of things are eclipsing out of our life. You said some frequencies just took me off. What do you mean? What do you mean in there that took me off? Took me off or took you off? You didn't hear me for a second or something? Hey, Joe. Hey, Tavon. You said some frequencies just took you off or took me off from speaking. You know, even before I went on, I saw the thing was saying that that I didn't have any internet thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Really? And, you know, I'm looking at it and I didn't see it go off at all. But I know there's a lot of power and energy coming through me. So I can feel it. I can feel it. But even now as I'm speaking and really, you didn't see no Facebook Live at all? That's interesting because I didn't see anything on my end as if it cut off at all. No part of all did it cut off. So I should think that it's going to still show up anyway after I come off. It's going to show something. I know that for sure. Because I didn't see it come off at all or delete or anything. That is very interesting. Well, I mean, basically what I still said is, again, what is being emphasized is the empowerment. And I wanted to at least address some of the stuff that was showing up as far as twin souls are concerned. Is please remember and understand that whatever you're seeing in the physical aspect with your two eyes, that there's energy that you're shifting. There is still old programming from ancestral lineage, and also things that you might be experiencing on your end to do with abandonment issues, because that is one of the biggest things that still keeps showing up, even for the masculine as well. Because remember that if they're in a relationship with someone, whether married or just in a relationship with someone else, they're going through healing and taking steps with how much they're accepting true love and the higher love, okay? And because we have not been used to having that experience, it takes time for them to really accept it. And there's even some on the feminine side that is also finding it difficult to accept true love. And you may not even realize that you're not accepting it, because a lot of times this has to do with how you feel about yourself. How do you look at yourself? I implore you to, allow yourself to change something about you. Change your hairstyle. Go to the movies. Go get your a massage. Put on your face. Put on a little makeup, a little jewelry, something. Anything that you know that can lift you up again is all a part of your empowerment. And you're not doing it for anyone. You're doing it for you. Fellas, if you haven't gotten a manicure and a pedicure done, go do that for yourself. Treat yourself nice and love yourself up. Pamper yourself. Put on some lotion. Put on some cologne and perfume. See, all of these things is what have been created from the beginning of time to what lifts you up. When you burn incense, okay, and oils that we wear, all of this is what also lifts up, heightens the senses. Anything else that have been taught in the religious structure and the politics and all these things is to bring you down. And you see, there are still some liminal dark energies that would like for you not to empower yourself, would like for you to think that you're not going to experience this true love, would like for you to think it's never going to happen. And it's for you to stay steadfast, you know, and allowing at the same time, because I know there's some who hold on too tight, and then there's some who just let it go too much. And it's everything that comes together in balance that what brings this together even more. Remember, I've always stated that the unity of this is also how you are doing things for yourself and how you feel about yourself and who you're being. It also includes your passion. What is your passion? If you feel that something's happening with your job and you're feeling and knowing it's time to go, it's because you're not living out your passion, regardless of what it is. It could be drawing, painting, singing, dancing. It could be comedian, being a comedian. If you know there's something within you that's to bring you joy, do it, because you know what? That's what's within your soul. And when you're living out your passion and you're in your highest state and your greatest joy, and all of these things is what brings things together as far as manifestation. And it's effortless. It's effortless. I've been able to manifest things in so many ways. I can't even think of all of them right now, but that's how I do it. Even with how I look right now and how I feel right now, there's other things going on, but guess what? I don't give a fuck. And anybody who knows me personally, they know me. And I would just be in laughter, even if I get mad for 2 seconds, which I hardly even get mad anymore. I'm just my soul just automatically, something brings me back into this joy. And it's at that state, when we get close to that state. I know there's some people that, you know, we're in this duality where you experience sadness, you experience the anger, the frustration, you know, all these things, which yes, it's a part of the human experience, okay? But this is about how we are bringing ourselves back into the unity consciousness where you're in blissfulness. I've stated before where great evening, sis time. I had experienced what it was like to be in this greater blissfulness. And I was just floating for 2 weeks, walking up and down in the house for 2 weeks. This was back in 2015. And it was like I was walking on stilts. But what it was is that my soul was in my body, and it was like as if my soul was on the higher aspect of myself, and it was still anchored in. I was consciously aware, like looking down at myself, seeing my body, walking around the house, feeling this great joy that comes through from God. Okay, and it didn't have to do with my twin in necessarily being there with me either. It was what I was experiencing within myself. And how Spirit showed me is that everything to how it exists on the other side is what we're templating on the physical earth. And I know for some it's hard to conceive what that is like because you haven't experienced it as yet. But for you to be able to be at that place where you start to experience it, that means that's when your kundalini starts to open up, your chakras start to open up, you're letting go of a lot of things, okay? And that means that even if someone cannot relate to it, you know, are you going to allow yourself to say, well, I'm going to hold myself back and still not propel to who I am? You see, all of that is a part of your empowerment. All of that is a part of your empowerment. And so as I was experiencing that for 2 weeks, none of my bills or nothing was taken care of. But I still knew the divine was taking care of things for me. And that is where my empowerment was. And that was from 2015. And I'm at that place right now that I had to go through layers of letting go, layers of surrendering, layers of what I think I may not understand. And I knew that the Holy Spirit was still going to show it to me at some point, even if I don't understand. Another thing that we're shifting is to letting go of what we may want to know. That's a part of control and power where a lot of have come into play, whether it's masculine or feminine, because like I said, Spirit is showing me that there's no separation with this hardly anymore. Yes, this is divine order. And this is where there's some who feel that they want to know what's going to happen ahead of time. What's going to happen with this? Is this going to happen for me? Is that going to happen for me? And sometimes we're not going to know what is going to happen. And that's why Spirit always keeps showing me we must stay present, stay in the now. I know some of you like to read your books and go into the past, especially in the African heritage, your Indian heritage, your Asian heritage, whatever heritage where you come from. But sometimes now, this is about staying within yourself and connecting again to the divine. What is Spirit showing you? Nowadays, when something presents itself to me, I don't even hardly look it up on the internet. I tune in. I tune in to hear what Spirit is saying to what is the message. That's what I do. You see? And when I do that, guess what? That means I'm getting the information fresh from the other side, because understand that things that have been written, I'm not saying that you're going to completely do away with it. But remember, things that have been written has been history. 555 right now where I am. No coincidence, Spirit. Tell me if you look on the computer, 555. Movement, shifts and changes for everyone. It's not just me alone. Even missing 5 people. Everything is shifting. And that means that anything that you've read before and that stuff, yes, you might take some of it, but not all of it, and stay present. Pay attention to what's happening also intergalactically, because there are things happening intergalactically. You maybe you might not have that experience right now, but eventually you will, because they will be roaming the earth. They already have started. There are already beings that are already roaming on the earth that they're not really human beings. They might be looking like they're human, but they're not. And this is the truth. This is the truth, because they're here to assist with things with the divine. And so, yes, synchronicity. That's right. And there's many, many synchronicities that I see that I've been in such awe and amazement that even when I was hearing the airplane sound and I was like, is that an airplane or is that a spaceship? Couldn't tell what it was. But you see, once again, I trust the divine to show me what's going on. And as I was speaking, all of a sudden, I see something on a license plate that said something about the wings flying or something like that. And right away, I knew that Spirit was confirming that it was an airplane. It was an airplane. And when I think of an airplane is soaring off. It's taking off. Okay? And then not long after that, I was playing music in my car, and all of a sudden, this song was playing by Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre. And what's the sound that starts out when it's playing? An airplane. An airplane. See, those are the type of things to pay attention to, the signs. Pay attention to what's being shown to you. And Spirit will let you know what is going on. And it relates to your experience and what is happening. Okay? So I just wanted to say that part, and I don't want to get off too many topics, but I'm trying to remember everything, because I'm not reading a book, I'm not looking on the internet, I'm having everything flow through to me with what's being shown to what I'm to say, and still the main thing I keep hearing Spirit is talking about is the empowerment and letting go of the control, the need to control anything anymore. Letting go of the fears or any fear of unknown to what may or may not happen. If you know your soul is pulling you to be at a certain place, to shift out of a relationship, to shift away, even if it has to do with your family, time to let go. There are some souls who may come back into your life. It's okay, because they're also working through things on their own as well. And they may come back. They may not come back. Remember, there are some souls who are choosing to ascend out of their body. That means that they're leaving, they're transitioning, what you call death. This is a part of the cycle. And knowing that, feeling this ultimate joy and blissfulness that we have, it's not the way that you think it might be. It is not anything that has ever been done before. Yeshua and Mary Magdalene tried to do it on the planet, and it didn't go all the way. And that is the reason why twin souls are here, to assist the planet with this aspect. Okay? Because we carry the divine feminine and divine masculine codes. I am a twin flame. I am here to assist the planet through this awakening in a mighty way. And therefore, as I speak, and whatever comes forth from me is coming through from the Holy Spirit. I've had moments where the Holy Spirit take over my body, not where it's possessed. And it is the matriarchal aspect. This is where Mother God has come through and used my body to speak the words that I speak, and speaking in different tongues and languages. I even found myself speaking in ancient French. And the only reason why when I know when I'm speaking it is because at the time I'm tuning in and spirit is telling me what is going on. And most of the time when it does flow through, it is because there's something being activated. So there are some twins, when you meet each other, whether it could be on the phone, it could be in person, it could be a text, it could be even in your dream state. Those are moments where either you are triggering something within yourselves to heal something, and or activating something with one another. When you're triggering something, the healing that takes place is when you start to feel away, as one would say. It's like you, if you're not here to do with anything conscious, so please come off of the thing, okay? I'm telling you this from now, otherwise I will block you. So this has to do with what is triggered to heal from your family lineage, anything that shows up as rejection, abandonment, so on and so forth, which most of you know, but there are some who are starting this journey that is not aware of it, and you're feeling this higher feeling of love, and you're feeling this connection to this person like no other before. You can't stop thinking about them. They can't stop thinking about you. You mirror each other. And when I say you mirror each other, that means that there's one aspect of the soul that is doing certain things and saying certain things, and their counterpart is also doing something simultaneously. Usually I find it to be within, I would say 24 to 48 hours. And I've witnessed it myself where I'm doing certain things, and then I notice my twin or my divine complement is doing the same thing or saying the same type of words. Some cases you may sound alike, and in some cases you might look alike as well. Okay, so it's all these different elements of things that happens, as you know, for twin souls. And each template in and of itself is an expression, as I said, of the feminine and the masculine, in bringing ourselves back into a higher state of love that's not subjected to gender specific as male or female. And we're here to bust and break down the old relationship templates, right? That is related to cultural differences, age differences, religious differences, okay? All these different things. Sometimes you might be in two different countries, okay? And sometimes the age difference might be 30 years apart. It doesn't matter, because this is how love is, how the divine is having us come here to show and to demonstrate what true love is. Love has no conditions, no placement on how someone should be, and this is about how we love each other, showing how we love each other for our similarities and our differences. And it's not where we're just speaking on it, it's just demonstrated. It is felt from the heart and connecting to the heart center. So even some of us may be in even greater what we call separation from one another, because spirit wants us to connect from the heart, to feel into things, to feel what is happening between you and your divine counterpart, to feel what it is to do with this connection to the divine and where we're placed, and how we're getting to that place where we are connecting to God through the sacred sexuality. And so for any of you that are experiencing this and you're feeling pain or you're feeling rejected, remember that there's something for you to go deep within yourself, and how deep does it take you and what you are healing, something that could be reflecting through when you're growing up in your childhood. There's things that reflect from your twin's childhood. In some cases, some of you might be feeling happy and joyful one minute, and next thing you feel sad. Most of the time that's because you are experiencing something that's happening with your twin. And it's just so many different elements of things that continue. Hey Kay, how are you? I'm here talking and just giving out information to what's happening in the energy with the eclipse and the full moon and all of that, the usual things. But you know what? It's increasing more and more. So if anybody has anything to share, any symptoms that you've had that you haven't heard me mention, I know that Indira told me some of it had cut off when I was talking. So, I had heat in the body and sleeping long hours, changing what we're eating, now and then. All of that is happening. Some of you might find yourself even speaking in tongues too, because that's the language of the soul. Yes, it is. The language of the soul is speaking in tongues, because I even find myself too, I'm glad I remember this, I'm even finding myself difficulties even finding words to speak, because some things are just not going to be said in words anymore. And that's why one of the things that I made in observation is that even when you might find yourself arguing with someone or feeling like you're being, pulled with someone, with something that you're experiencing with them, and it makes you feel terrible or angry or frustrated, always remember to go higher with it and say, what is showing up in the energy? What is my soul doing here? What is my soul up to? I should say more than doing here. What is my soul up to? Because your soul is up to something. Your soul is up to something for you to make an observation of what you're healing or clearing, or something that just has to come out of you. And sometimes it goes in layers and layers and layers, and it's bringing you into that space of your own empowerment. It's like a test for you. So you said you're finding problems, we're finding words of communicating. Okay, yep, that's it. That's what's been happening with me too. And I feel that is also happening coming from the divine, because it's for us to be able to connect. Because sometimes what I do when I can't get the words that I said to the person, or even sometimes my children, well, what do you think I'm trying to say then? Because I can't find the words anymore. And then they know. You see, because the words are not coming out, because Spirit wants us to start communicating coming from the heart, coming from our soul. And that's why with words, you know how many times people have been killed because of words, how things have been misunderstood because of words, you see? And I always say, if only they had just connected through their heart space, and they would know what's coming from the heart, coming from the soul, you see? And Stephanie, greetings, Stephanie. How are you? Beautiful. You said, this is fantastic. Thanks so much. I had to go. Okay, honey, you can watch this later. Sending you lots of love. So anyway, that's some of the things that I wanted to share, with everyone, trying to bring it together collectively. And even more so, once again, the theme during this time is your empowerment. Your empowerment. How much you're willing to let go. Excuse me. How much you're willing to let go of what you're taught. How much you're willing to let go of what you perceive. Also what you perceive. Because even if you look at something and it's not what you like to see, I know that there's also times when we say, well, what are we creating consciously, right? And what is we creating? But this is about that. Even it is also based on not only what you're creating consciously, but what's showing up and how we're seeing it in so many different realities, and detaching from it, okay? And detaching from the outcomes. No matter how we see it, how we look at it, something is presenting itself as far as who you are. And as you are becoming more and more who you are, all the parts of you, if you don't know all the parts of you, time to find out, time to tune into yourself, tune into your radio station, and find out what's going on with you and what's changing. What are you letting go of? What are you propelling forward with? Anything that you've been afraid to do and to be, time to step into that path. Time to step up to the plate, step into your power. The divine will propel you and push you into that direction somehow, okay? And just remember that through all of this, you bring yourself into a greater sense of peace with wisdom and understanding. Don't forget to laugh, to dance, okay? All of that is so important. So, one of my favorite songs is playing. Long time. When is the last time you had a nice time? When is the last time you had a nice time? Anybody have any questions? Please feel free to ask me a question. I don't want to just be talking. If not, I will just, end off right here for whatever, because, I'm just going from my memory of whatever Spirit is guiding me to speak to you. And know that everything that you are desiring, don't give up. Don't give up. Lots of exciting things are happening for some of us. And this is where we are able to manifest things into our reality, and it's effortless. It's not where we have to wonder if something is going to happen. You know, like for me, I just choose for things to come into my space freely, just like that. I'm not sacrificing my life or my time anymore for anyone or anything. I'm not. I choose to live, and I choose to be, and I choose to be free, and it's a choice that we all can make. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to be productive, but you can. But sometimes Spirit just wants us to not be productive. Just be still. Just lay down. Just be. Do nothing sometimes, okay? And allow yourself to tune into the feeling of joy and what you're manifesting, and knowing that it is possible and how you make it possible, because that magic is happening within you. You're the one with the magic touch. It's just to reconnect to that, so that way you will start to have it be with yourself. So in the area, you said you're deep tomorrow, and so that's a part of your empowerment, honey. That experience you're having is all a part of your empowerment, okay? And I remember myself when I went through that. Yes, I do, you know, and I look at it this way, that each time we go to another level and another level and another level, it's like, it literally, it's like you're saying, oh, whatever. That's it. Oh, whatever. But if we hold tight to like, oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh my God, I got to do this. And get into all that energy, it just piles up all that energy. And then it just makes it feel like you're in fear, you know, and doubt. But when you like really just kind of let go and you see yourself, it's like the minute someone says, you're not da-da-da-da-da, or this is not da-da-da, at that moment you decide, do I have to accept what that person says? Do I have to accept, because if something happened to someone else, that the same thing happens for me? It's at that point that something shifts. It's at that point that you take back your power. It's at that point that something just ends. Because at some point, something does come to an end, and then you shift into another aspect of it, and it may resurface again. But it goes through stages and steps, like I said, stages and steps, you know? And for me, I've been facing, you know, certain things, you know, and lots of these little government things and all that stuff. And I'm not worried about it anymore. I don't, because you know what it does? It robs you and takes you away from the joy that you could have. So that's why at that moment you can be at that space of joy, say fuck it, and just keep going. You know what I mean? Because no matter what, I know that Spirit supports us. Spirit supports me. Spirit supports you. They're behind the scenes helping you and taking care of things for you. You know what I mean? And that's why we're to trust. And I really feel like we are really at that pinnacle point, you know, for those who are really stepping into their true power, that you're really going to see even more things, like things that you've gone through in the past where it's taken long, or it's a struggle, or you feel like you're not moving forward, that now it's like, now I can actually show it to you without just saying the words. That rubber band, it can pull back, but for so far, and this includes the twin flame journey. But no matter what, that energy is always going to come right back. It's going to snap right back. It's going to shift somehow, because it can go but so far that it can go, and then it just comes right back. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly the truth. So I hope that helps you. And I wouldn't worry. I just think it's just a test of faith and empowerment. Again, stepping into your power and your truth. And you know what, too? What I suggest to you, too, sis? Here's my advice, what you can do that also shifts things as well and brings it into more power. Put on some high heels, pumps, and a pair of black, black suit, like a black suit with a white dress. Put your hair up in the air, some dangle earrings. That is how the queen presents herself also, and stands even taller in her power. See? As you walk in the room, boom, shakalaka. See? That's what I'm talking about. So it's not just, that's right, I'm every woman. You see? It's, you know, it's like, there are times when I don't have to say anything. Okay? It just happens. It just happens because of what is within me. See? As I walk, everything just starts to align itself to the point where I don't even have to say the words anymore. It just emanates from me. See? And then this is how everything universally just starts to shift. And then it stays in that space. It's like the parking space is there. I get something free. I get something discounted. I get something working out with something. That is what I'm talking about. Okay? You apply for something before, and you get turned down. All of a sudden you apply again. All of a sudden you turned up. I didn't plan that, but that was a good one. Turned up, girl. Turned up. You turn it up. You're turning up a notch. Okay? I always say wearing your hair high up in the air, unless you got a crown somewhere, you're wearing that crown. But I really feel that things are coming to a close. Yes, Kate, turned up. Things are coming to a certain closure for many, many, many of us. And when you know that, how do I say it? When you know that everything is just turning and coming into your favor more now, and you don't feel that much of a struggle, right? And you don't feel like you, how do I say, feel that heaviness, is that you feel that inner peace. You just start to feel that inner peace, you know? And as you feel that inner peace, remember, there may be moments of interruptions, okay, where we'll have certain elements of things come into our experience and our reality. Then you got to get gangster. You got to get gangster, being true. Get gangster. You stay in your truth and your power, okay? You laugh through that shit, and it works out even greater, okay? Because you see, it's all about not staying in that space for too long, you know? You don't stay in that space for too long. Because sometimes, you know, there's this true saying, niceness, don't take people's niceness for weakness. And it's not that we're trying to go, you know, to show off to someone and say, hey, man, I'm going to do this to you. No, it's not that. It's knowing when to bring that balance in when you're going through certain experiences with life. I even ask Spirit, will we be taking the bad words, what we call the bad words, into the new earth? And Spirit says, if you choose, but then you won't have to. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because there won't be too much things that we feel like we're fighting with or coming against with ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? And so as we, you know, as we keep ascending, right? And this is how I see it. It's just as we're ascending and ascending, and I said, great evening, Delante, great evening. As we're ascending, each level that we're ascending and something else is falling off and disintegrating, you go up another notch again. Then you might come over again with wider wisdom. Then you might go down deep again, and then we're still coming back up again, and things are constantly shifting and shifting. Then most of us will start to be in more elevation and more joy, and to the point where it's like what you call silliness. Because let me tell you something, going into the new earth is not when you're going to be just daddy and oh Lord, oh I'm tired today, oh Lord, oh this bitch. No, that's not what I experienced. No, blissfulness, that's a higher state. Higher. That's exactly what it is. This is not where we're going to have duality, where we're going to be having strife and like as if we're going against something, or, you know, or pulling the thing. No. It's what comes together in unison and unity. And that's why I said focus on what is happening in your life. Focus on empowering yourself instead of thinking what you need to do to go fight. You know, I was watching, I have to share this. I was watching a video last night, early this morning, I should say. Let me not say last night. And it had to do with the powerful, the 10 top powerful kings. And then, of course, I watched the 10 top powerful queens. Okay. And the way he described these powerful kings, okay, and these are African. Let me rephrase that. The African kings and queens, because everybody who knows, if you don't know, the Garden of Eden, when life started, where everything evolved from, it started in Africa. That's right. That's where it started. It started out black as far as the physical incarnations, okay? And his description of power and what made the African males powerful and the queens, some of them he rated it as far as the wars that they had, okay? And how they were able to have certain alignments of wars and this and that. But guess what? You see me? I'm not into the wars and the battles. And yes, he did have Nefertiti as the 10th queen. He said he had to put her in there because of the power she had. And he acknowledged that her power was in alignment and equal to her partner because they were equals. Akhenaten and Nefertiti were twins. They were twin souls, and it is put out there on the internet that they were twins. So we're reincarnated here again. And we were here again before that. And before that. And the one thing I know about myself, because the other thing too, how you know when you know who you are, is that you carry that personality. You still have that same personality. And the personality that I have now is I'm not interested in quarreling, arguments, wars, battles. No, I'm not. No weapons, no knives. See? True power is how you're feeling about yourself and how you apply that to your life with not having any, needing to have any approval from anyone. And it doesn't mean that we walk and step over someone else and try to be in power over them, but we have that honor and respect for that person too. And that person is also empowered within themselves, and they're living their life freely and to the fullest as well, with joy. Okay? So as far as what I saw and what I spoke about in the book is that this new earth is not going to have wars with battles and knives and guns and all these, that bullshit. Telling you that from now. No politicking, none of that. All of those structures are going to keep continuing to break down. They're going to be restructuring and restructuring until finally it is no longer there. Because you know why? It did not exist in that time from the beginning. No, we were working together as a community. Okay, I have so many things and desires that I choose to be a part of as we continue to help one another. Because you know, I'm the one that brings things together. It's in my nature to be that way. What comes together and how can we bring it together universally? You see what I'm saying? Universally. And that includes how we look out for each other. It doesn't mean you look out for each other and you, forget about yourself, because that's one of the things that there's so many of you that look out for people all the time. Give of yourself. Let yourself go. And then that's where the resentment builds up and the frustration and the anger. And then you're disempowering yourself. You see? So even with what I did today, when the doctor said, oh, well, if you don't want to, you know that your kids are supposed to have, I said, no, they don't have to supposed to. I said, they didn't have that, and they're perfectly fine. I said, the only reason if I've had to bring them to a doctor is unless they get sick, and they don't have to get sick because guess what? They're ascending. Do you think I care whether he understood what I said? No, I didn't. Because you see, when I look at it in the long run, this has to do with how we are empowering ourselves with being healthy. That's where true wealth comes in. Is you're healthy and you're also bringing in the finances, the money. You're in an abundance of everything. So why would I need a doctor? That's why doctors, you are your own doctor. You can heal yourself just by the spoken word. You can heal yourself with the feelings that you have about yourself and the connection you have to your body and the connection you have to the cells of your body, the connection you have to your soul, and the connection that you have to the divine and where it places you. If you feel that you need someone to heal you, then I guess it will take some time before you come to a greater self-realization of how you can heal yourself. See? And this is how it comes together as a community also when it comes to how we live together. Everyone should be in a home. Everyone should have their heart's desire. Everyone should be fed. Everyone should be clothed. Everyone should be in joy. There's no such thing as only one classification. You see? No, this is about unification. As I remember from what I read and also in my memory is that I knew at the time when I was here before, everyone had everything. But as usual, there's always someone that wants more. And it's all because of wanting to be in control and power, bringing things into alliance. And see, and it has to start from within you. And anyone who is not operating and staying within that space of unity consciousness, they're not going to be able to survive through these frequencies because everything is coming together. The planets are all coming together. The animals are all coming together. The insects, the birds, everything is coming together. And it is now time for you to really think about where you are with your life right now, because it is not going to be the same even by the time this year is over. It's already 1 month, practically. January 31st is this Wednesday, and the month is over, and practically. And we are already in this portal energy of what is eclipsing. And that means that we're eclipsing the routines, what you're so routinely used to. Whether you eat a certain time, go to work, this, you know, I'm not saying not go to work. I'm just saying certain structures, a lot of structures, a lot of mechanisms, certain holidays, certain this, certain that. It's all eclipsing. And it doesn't mean that certain things are completely over. It just means that it is being redone over. We are being, how would I say, realigned as well with what is taking place. And this is about us surrendering to our souls, surrendering to soul/higher self, whatever name, you know, that's it. Surrendering to that. Surrendering to the unknown. Surrendering to that which is. If you feel it within yourself, if you feel it within your soul, if you feel it within your heart, it is to pay attention and to listen. That's where sacred listening comes in. That's where sacred listening comes in. And a lot of you may be feeling your heart chakra opening up even wider, because God is trying to open up your heart to even greater love and higher love, and coming to the acceptance of that and what it feels like, where it takes you, who you're connected to. This is not about being in relationships that no longer serve you, whether it's a relationship with someone you work with, a friendship. It could even be a spouse, a lover. It's not where we are just happenstancely being with someone that is there for us to provide for us. No, you are providing for yourself, and then we're also working together collectively to make things work. And so that's what I wanted to share with you, these messages and more messages and more messages, and where it takes you and where it takes me and where it takes all of us as one body of Christ. This is the true Christ. This is the true Christed energy. This is the true Christ consciousness. So I just want to leave off with a little more meditating tones. Excuse me. And just be still for a moment. Be still into this space. Be still into this moment of now and centered. And just take a deep breath. And then release. And take a deep breath again. And release. Mother, Father, God, I want to thank you for this time, this moment, in this space, in all these experiences that we're having as one soul. Thank you for letting us know that we are all having all these different myriad of experiences in different space and different times. And that all we need to remember is that it's just how much we are awakening and remembering ourselves to the true nature of who we are and the true connection that we have to all. I thank you for all these divine unions that are coming into place harmoniously and into balance. I thank you for all those who are at that place where they're ready to completely continue to surrender to soul, to surrender to their higher selves, and surrender to divine will, as it is above, as so below, on heaven and on earth. I thank you for anyone out there who is going through any type of health issues, that they're able to see through what is happening in their lives, and that they're able to work through their healing that is happening energetically, that is starting from thoughts and starting from what's been in the past, and bringing it to a place of wisdom and knowledge. I thank you for those who are also in their space of manifesting their finances, and that they're knowing that their bills, their needs, and everything is being met. That there's also things that are happening as far as manifesting their true love stories and what's coming together in that space. And understanding that we are creating new divine partnerships and an area of health and wealth, prosperity and wisdom. Yesena shana kutira pi siloni data shilo kontiri pi kani le petela koni shila paterea tu shilebe. Kira miratiro kuri berandi di sholo di peter ko shila mena kini ali char kito. Ira ba kito minati shekatori ira bare seam de kiro ni bar kite se kontiri be. Ani di kuru ibera kira sile kena de ko ina di tikina ni ona. Ai ne no ni na ni na la la ni ai shana ni ai na ni nya. Ani ne la ni ne ne ani ne no ni na 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 no 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 Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters, for joining me this evening. I send you so much infinite peace and blessings. Do remember to love yourselves and treat yourselves kindly, and to stay within your center, stay within your space, stay in your lane, love one another for your similarities and your differences, and knowing that you are divine and that all these blessed gifts that are returning to earth, that Mother and Father God is here with us now, as we are the microcosmic aspects of the greater cosmic aspects of the One, the Divine, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Namaste. Peace be with you. Lots of love.